This is a human warning. 10 more reasons that Quentin Tarantino sucks. Now, you may have seen my first video where I think it was pretty comprehensive, so it's going to be difficult to find new ways that he sucks. Okay, number 10. He thinks that hitmen wear business suits. I don't know where this idea came from. Like, if a hitman was coming to my house to kill me, he would look pretty out of place if he was wearing a business suit. And judging by the apartment that Jules and Vincent are doing their hit, they are out of place. Like, if I'm a hitman and I gotta do a hit on the beach, I should probably be wearing swimwear. Right? Like, the whole point of being a hitman is getting in and out without getting caught. But in Reservoir Dogs, they also wore suits, so I guess bank robbers also wear suits. And again, you want to get away without getting seen or caught or recognized. When's the last time you saw somebody dressed in a business suit going into the bank? Number 9, he thinks guns are cool. Yes, he thinks all violence is cool, but he thinks guns are cool, especially. Now, I understand most people think guns are cool, so he's a part of a larger problem. I mean, if you need to hunt in order to kill a deer so you can eat, okay, fine. Then it's a tool. If you need a gun for self-defense, okay, then it's a self-defense thing. But I'm really getting tired of this whole gun thing. It was tiring in the Matrix movies where they basically just massacred people. Remember in the Matrix movie when they came in with all the guns and just started killing real civilians? I mean, I'm not going to bring up the issue of gun control in the real world. I'm just saying it's getting boring in movies. Just like having the main character be a detective is getting boring. Just like the main character in like 90% of movies and TV are cops, as if cops have the most interesting lives, which they don't. And a specifically annoying thing about movies with guns, as you see on the screen right now, you see how they're both pointing at each other and saying, in real life, if two people have a gun pointed at each other, one of them's going to pull the trigger first and then the other one dies. The whole point of that is so silly. That never has happened in real life. Never once have two people pointed a gun at each other and then they both talk about like, okay, put the gun down. I'm not going to put it down. You put it down first. I don't think that's ever happened. Right? Like if I pull out a gun and then you go to pull out a gun, I'm going to shoot. And that's just the way it works. Now, if we both pull out the gun at the same time, then one of us is going to shoot right away. It's like the old quickest draw in the West. You don't see Westerns where they do the standoff and then they both pull out their guns and then they just wait and talk to each other and like talk about how I'll shoot you. And I'm not going to count all the times. This scene in Reservoir Dogs is not, I bet you $1 million, it's not the only scene where Quentin Tarantino does this thing. Oh yeah, it even happens at the end of the movie when 3 of them have guns pointed at each other and then they shoot each other in a triangle. 8, he never changes genre. And that's an understatement. He never even changes the story. But let's just say he never changes genre. So even if it's set in World War II, it's still the same story. He might pretend it's a different genre. Even if it's From Dusk Till Dawn, a vampire movie, it's not the horror genre. It's the cool genre. You can't just like say, okay, well, because this movie is set in the Antarctic or is set in the year 500 BC, that makes it a horror movie or whatever the fuck, an Arctic movie. You're not really changing genres if you're telling the same story, which is basically just that there's a cool guy getting revenge on people. Like, dude, why don't you make a sci-fi movie and have it actually be about science fiction, right? It's not going to be a sci-fi movie if you put it in space, but it's still a cool guy getting revenge on a bunch of evil aliens. It's not a romance, like, let's say, true romance. If what's really going on is just people killing each other and showing how cool they are. It's not a samurai movie or whatever that genre is, if it's really just showing how cool she is. And she's just basically getting revenge. It's not a movie about black slavery in the 19 whatevers. If it's really just about the guy getting revenge and showing how cool he is. It's not a children's movie if, it's about a little kid that gets revenge on his classmates by, I don't know, stealing their favorite toy or whatever. You know, beating up the bully in a even if it's done in a kids movie kind of way. It's not a period piece about the golden age of Hollywood. If really what's going on is they're getting revenge on the bad guys, and that's the only point of the whole thing. 7, he always has his foot fetish on display. I think foot fetishes are ridiculous and funny. But guess what? Everybody has a fetish, and it's always hilarious to anyone who does not have the fetish, and embarrassing. So just like, don't put your foot fetish, don't impose that on me. Like, if you've got a fetish about calling your girlfriend mommy, I don't want to see that either. Just don't put that on display. And also, it's personal for me because I hate feet. I really hate feet. Even nice feet. I hate it when girls take their socks off or shoes off. 6, dialogue that never shuts up. You make a big long speech about burgers, and then just because you reference it later in the scene, that doesn't make it okay. Wait, again, what the hell is with the potbelly speech? You can cut most of his dialogues out of his movies completely, and the movie improves. Or my favorite, the scene at the beginning of Inglourious Basterds that lasts for 15 minutes. A conversation between Christoph Waltz and the French guy, where he's like playing with him and figuring out whether there's Jewish people hiding under the floorboards. 15 minutes or longer. That could have been 1 minute. I don't care if you're trying to build tension. You're not building tension. It's really boring. That was my experience anyways, watching it in theater. I didn't feel any sense of suspense. I was just kind of like, let's get on with it. I'm not interested in watching this guy ask for another glass of milk. Or the opening of Reservoir Dogs, where they talk about Like a Virgin for like 5 minutes. It felt like 5 minutes. They should have just had the little argument about tipping and then started the movie. Just cut that whole Madonna thing out. 5, apparently every movie he makes is a remix of other movies. I never particularly noticed or was bothered by that, but if that's true, that's even more pathetic, since I consider all of his movies to be exactly the same. So if he's actually using other people's movies, then that's even more sad, because he's never making a new movie. It's always the same movie. 4, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I should just keep making videos just about this one point. His self-consciousness. Look at me, I'm cool, I made this. How is it that his self-consciousness is so obvious in his movies? His ego, like how he's putting his ego right in front of you. Look at me, I'm cool. Well, it's betrayed by the music. Like the music, the way he uses it, it's like he's trying to say, look at how cool that scene just was. Because, like, I don't know, there'll be like cool music that plays right after the big dramatic scene. Or there'll be a freeze frame. Or there'll be some cool cut. And the overall feeling is it's like when somebody laughs at their own joke. And worse, if the joke isn't funny. Like, I laugh at my own jokes, but my jokes are usually funny. At least they're funny to me. But anyways, it's like laughing at your own joke. But it's like, you're doing this, you're charging people money to watch you laugh at your own joke. The most crass example I can think of in movies, and Quentin Tarantino isn't this crass because he's a little bit smart. But it's like in Superman, where the Superman 2, when Superman was going to fight Zod, and some cab driver looks up at them about to fight, and he goes, "Wow, this is going to be good." And it's like they're telling the audience, like, "Oh yeah, this is really enjoyable. Watch this." Or like in The Matrix, where when Neo is fighting Morpheus because he's learning how to do karate, and then everybody like whatever the Twitch and the little guy, and he's got a rodent named Mouse. They're all like, "Wow, this is gonna be good," and then the cool music starts. So you don't need to tell me I'm gonna enjoy this scene. Like, you don't need to say to the audience, "This is gonna be good." And that's kind of the feeling I have when I watch Quentin Tarantino movies. It's almost like his characters are like telling me, "This is going to be really cool. You should like this. This is cool." Or it's similar to like a laugh track in a comedy TV show, where they're telling you when you should laugh. Maybe Tarantino should just cut the bullshit and have a laugh track. Or have him just show up, like poke his little head on the screen and go, okay, this is the cool scene. Okay, this is suspenseful. You're feeling suspenseful right now. Okay, what just happened was really dramatic and badass. And that guy is really cool that you're looking at. Like, I don't know. I actually wonder, like, does Quentin Tarantino jerk off to his movies? 3, he thinks that using the N-word and doing things like that, he says it's realism. He uses the excuse that it's realism. And I think he uses that excuse for a lot of bad things that he does, things that are taboo. But yet the style and the wordplay is always unrealistic. The whole story is unrealistic at all times. So you can't say you're going for realism, but then you're not. You're also going for style. Like, pick one. At least, like, Martin Scorsese, as much as I don't like him, he goes for realism. He doesn't have them always making quick, witty one-liners. Like, if the character's a stupid person or a person who's, like, having a panic attack, they're not going to be coming up with these amazing one-liners the way everybody in Quentin Tarantino's movies always do. But yet, you got to use the N-word for realism. Number 2, there are so many people who think he is a genius. Oh, no, this really isn't his fault, but in a way, it's not good when you keep rewarding somebody for making shitty movies, because his movies become more and more self-indulgent and boring if you keep saying it's a masterpiece. So his movies have become lazier and lazier because people just keep praising, like, all across the board. The critics, everybody just loves his movies, and it doesn't make his movies better. It's like you're watching people who are not in on the fact of, like, they don't get how stupid these movies are, so you just feel kind of ashamed and embarrassed for them. It's like when you meet a girl and she's falling all over some guy that because he can play 2 chords on a guitar. And, you know, like, I've studied classical music, right? And when I see a girl being like, oh my god, he's a musician because he can play 2 chords, and he's terrible at it, he's a terrible singer, he can't write songs, and the girl's just, because she doesn't have any musical training, so she thinks he's a genius. And it's just so shameful. It's so, and, you know, of course I'm jealous when I can't get that girl, but that's beside the point. Or it's just like the Spice Girls when they came out with, like, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what you want, what I really, really want, what I really, 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 really want. And I remember watching it, I think I was like 16 or something, when the video came out. And I remember after the video, I was like, I feel so bad for those girls. They're going to be such an object of mockery. But then they got huge. And I'm thinking, am I crazy? Or is everybody just that stupid? But you know what? The Spice Girls fans were mostly like 8-year-old girls. What's Quentin Tarantino's excuse? The critics who love his movies, they're not 8-year-old girls. So what's their excuse for saying that Quentin Tarantino, that he's a genius? And number 1, which I confess I've mentioned before, his movies have no meaning or moral. Okay? Now you might think, oh, moral, there doesn't need to be a moral to the story. What are you, Mr. Goody Two-Shoes? No, I'm not. But I'm saying the heart, the essence of storytelling is a moral, or if you want to say a meaning. There has to be a message there. There has to be an idea. Okay? I'm not saying the moral should be you should be a good person. Though, yeah, that's the moral of every Marvel movie. You know, the moral could be, look what happened to the boy who cried wolf. You know, there's just a lesson or a meaning or an idea there. And without that, you've just got Django Unchained, where it's really not about how it's wrong to have slaves. It's just more about getting revenge. And that's not a message. If that's your message, you should always get revenge. Well, what kind of a message is that? Because that doesn't work, right? Even the doesn't Django Unchained start with revenge is a dish best served cold, ancient Klingon proverb. I think that was it that movie? It was one of his movies, because every movie's about revenge. But if that is the main point of his movies, is that it's best to always get revenge, then you gotta find new ways to do it, at least. I'm not sure the message really works, because revenge is not a very logical thing. It generally doesn't work out for people. But you know what? And I'm not even sure you can use revenge as an idea for a movie. I don't think it really works as the moral to the story. But even if it did, I think revenge is just an excuse that Quentin Tarantino uses in order to just have lots of shooting going on throughout the whole movie and to have everybody be as cool as possible. So I think revenge is just a what do you call it? A pretense to allow him to indulge in his carnal love of guns and, you know, if you want to call it masculinity, I don't know what you want to call it. So that's our inglorious bastard. Although I would call him, you want to be a bastard. You're not. You're an inglorious nerd. Right? You don't have a wallet. Even if you have a wallet that says bad motherfucker, you're still a geek. You're a bad geek. They're not the hateful eight. They're the dorky eight. Most of them all are losers who die in the end anyways. I mean, how badass are you if you end up getting killed? You should instead of... For an edit, I'm not sure what the hell reservoir means for Reservoir Dogs, where the metaphor is in that. I don't think there is one. But, you know, instead of having Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink, Mr. Blonde, it should be Mr. Dork, Mr. Idiot, Mr. Loser, Mr. Nerd, Mr. Guy who... Mr. Virgin. That's what... I would edit that movie to that. And that's all I have for you. If you care about yourself, then like and subscribe. Help tell me what you think. Help me help you. This has been your human warning.